Hey friends, 8 Ball here, back with another Hiveswap Friendsim video. Today we are continuing on volume 14 with KARAKO's route. And I'm praying to God that I won't cry this video. I haven't cried in a video yet. I mean, not like fully, and I don't plan to anytime soon. So please, mirthful messiahs, have mercy on my soul. Okay, so now we're going to finish up his route and see what he has left for us. As you probably know, last time we got the route where we went into the Dark Carnival up in the sky, which was a trip. Um But yeah, so let's get on with this. Having learned the dangers of using the public thoroughfares, you've taken to dodging down byways and skulking near and rear areas, trying to spy out the individuals who look ripe for the friendship, while avoiding the more criminally insane denizens. Just now, you're following a winding footpath through the undergrowth surrounding a neighborhood where the local hives are spaced far apart. You came creeping along this footpath for safety. You should have known better. The undergrowth here is like most the other life forms on Alternia, evolved ruthlessly to purge the gene pool of the weak and the reasonable. Coiled, spring-loaded stalks with foot-long thorns flank writhing bushes with razor-edged leaves, which in turn crowd tentacle flora with toothed lobes oozing liquid that hisses and smokes when it touches the ground. Sounds delicious. Extreme caution is needed, just as it's needed when needed in every circumstance on this planet. While your time here in Alternia has gotten you accustomed to injuries, you still shrink from being impaled on sprung thorns and dissolved into acid. In acid. You can't be dissolved into acid. You should have known that eventually you would have come up against the local flora. So, you proceed, oh my god. Proceed discreetly, avoiding poison fronds and trying not to step on trigger roots. But suddenly, your vegetative focus is interrupted. You hear footsteps on the path, and then around the corner comes a small figure. Oh, my adorable boy. Hello, baby. How are you today? Look at his cute face. I love his theme song, too. I don't know if anyone noticed, but I pointed out on Twitter that it's labeled literally just like a giant emoji for Bowsette. It's great. Its face and horns are painted in smudged black and white marks. Despite the diminutive physique, it has some of the most impressive horns you've seen on any troll. Then the small figure sees you too, and is so startled it jumps a foot, impaling the horns on an overhanging tree branch sticking there so that its small legs pump helplessly in the air. Okay. Honk! You beg the small person's pardon, and assure him that you are fully as startled as he. You go on to explain that you are not dangerous, but that even if you were, you would not want to come to strife with even with a small person with horns of that size. Honk! Yes, you will be happy to help him down, as long as he promises not to attack you with the many bladed weapons that are stuffed into his belt, or with the dozen cans of inexpensive soft drink held in the bandoliers? Bandoliers crossing his chest. It strikes you suddenly that a neighborly gesture like helping someone whose horns are stuck in a tree branch can scarcely fail to kindle the light of friendship. You dare to hope that this will be the case now. Edging forward, you get close enough to see that around the small clown's neck hangs a dog tag, or an ID necklace. You tilt your head and crane your neck to read the writing on it. KARAKO, KARAKO Piro. If lost, call Bronya Ursima. Suddenly, this all makes sense. This KARAKO Piro must have been one of Bronya's reject runt wrigglers, who, having grown to childhood under her tender care, has gone out into the world to seek his fortune. That would account for his small size, short legs, and small stature relative to his horns. You eagerly pull out your palm husk, happy for an excuse to pester your old friend, but you've got zero signal out here. You wonder if the surrounding vegetation eats palm husk signals, just as it looks like it eats everything else. You disappointedly slip your palm husk back into your pocket. Honk. You apologize for the delay, explaining that you were surprised to find that you appear to have an acquaintance in common, whom you hope you will have time to discuss later. For now, you are ready, willing, and hopefully able to help him down. You hope he won't be offended if you slip behind him first. It's not that you object to bladed weapons or those who stuff dozens of them in their belts, but you feel that the ones he's wearing could ruin your look if buried in your torso, however unintentionally. You edge past the weapons, being careful also not to touch the spring thorns growing at the edge of the path, or their trigger roots. Once you're behind KARAKO, you grasp his horns firmly and pull, withdrawing them from the tree branch and allowing him to drop lightly to the ground. Honk! Oh, he's so cute! Look at his freaking face! I love him! I love him! You tell him that he's very welcome. Then there's a moment of awkward silence as you try to think of something else to say. Fortunately, your new potential friend is not as devoid of the social graces as you are, and gets the conversational ball rolling himself. Honk? You explain that you are indeed a stranger in these parts, and that you actually don't fit into any of the hemospectrum categories. Wild, right? Although, you are not quite as strange as you used to be, you like to think. You're really starting to blend in with the local color. Honk? Well, you'd rather not exhibit your blood just now. You're a couple of quarts low due to the robust conditions of life in Alternia, some of which you have recently had the honor of encountering. Honk. You sympathize. Slinking along these hidden paths in Alternia, in the Alternian woods, can be tough on the morale. The smell alone is enough to make strong men weep, and the vegetation looks like it's designed by the Marquise de Sade. Not that he knows who the Marquise de Sade is. I didn't look it up either, so I still don't know. You can't help but feel that it would be so much better if one only had a skulk buddy, you continue. However wonderful it would be to travel these dusky lanes with a kindred spirit, a twin soul, a fellow traveler, an intimate crony. You're such an expert on friend synonyms by now. Honk? No, you haven't met anyone like that either, but you would certainly like to. Your new potential friend is obviously thinking seriously about this issue, so you back off, give him some space. You pretend to be deeply immersed in studying one of the razor-sharp leaves on the writhing bushes besides the path. You aren't one to force yourself onto others, or try to unduly influence their friendship decisions. Okay, well, you might have forced yourself on others in the past, and tried to influence their friendship decisions. Maybe you've done this a lot, but you've recently evolved as a person. Sorry, I'm blanking. You know now that friendship is something that has to come authentically from within. Friendship is spontaneous. Real friendship sprouts naturally from the soil of mutual respect. The best friendships grow and ripen over years, and are not rushed or forced. Of course, you've only known this small person for about 5 minutes, but you have to start ripening sometime. You're reflecting, thus, on the theme of friendship when a loud pours suddenly from the sky above you. It's a crackling, sizzling sound. Like the chitinous thing like a chitinous thing with too many legs struggling in a hot frying pan. Oh no! Karako jumps so violently that he nearly gets his horn stuck in the tree again. Looking up, you see a floating metal object, vaguely troll-shaped, but huge, faceless metal, and with numerous sets of lightning bolt-shaped horns coming out of its head and neck. It's also not very sparkling. It's also not a very sparkling conversationalist. Shh, it remarks in a flat, echoing blare. It elaborates further. Honk! Run! A drone! We saved here last time, right? Yes, we did. And so last time we did Leap to Your Proto-Friend's Aid. And that was when we pushed him against a rock and used her body as a meat shield. So today we are going to do Run! A drone! You run in a wild panic. It's a drone! Even the Alternium badasses you've hung out with have been terrified of the drones. Up close, it's one of the most terrifying things you've ever seen, and it's making noises which you didn't know they even did, and which probably means something sinister. Ooh. You race at top speed down the twisting path, focusing your senses to their breaking point to avoid trigger roots, razor leaves, and acid pods. At first, you hear the pattering of small feet running behind you, but as you redouble your speed, the pattering falls back and after a while is lost in the distance. You sprint for what seems like a lifetime before you finally catch your foot on a trigger root and go flying through the air, barely missing being sliced into 100 pieces of tumbling ham by a barbed spring vine that lashes across the path only inches behind you. You land in the dirt, wind knocked out of you, but otherwise unhurt. You lie there, catching your breath and waiting, but nothing happens. No enormous metal monster whizzes down the path to impale you. No small clown-faced individual overtakes you on his short legs. Finally, after enough nothing happens, you pick yourself up and dust yourself off. You're alone on the path, and no sound of either friend or potential friend or foe can be heard. No birds sing, which is probably good. You imagine that any birds native to this forest would probably sing by croaking up putrid sludge, and that sludge would be poisonous or radioactive. But leaving aside the character of the local fauna, what should you do? Keep on down the path, putting more distance between yourself and the drone, or should you go back and see if Karako is okay? You waffle for a while and then decide to go back. Yes, go back. Save the child. You sneak back along the path. You sneak a long, long way, but however far you go, there is no signs of either Karako or the drone. You don't know whether the drone picked Karako up and took him away, or disemboweled him and scattered the fragments, or whether Karako left into the undergrowth and hid or escaped, or what. One way or another, you're all alone again in this path, through the shit-smell forest. Game over. Aw, rip. Okay, so that was a quick bad ending. Rip? God, I hope he's okay. Load game, and we are going to leap to our proto-friend's aid now. You leap to your proto-friend's aid. Thinking quickly, you push Karako against a large rock that juts out of the undergrowth nearby and jump in front of him, shielding him from the drone with your own body. You then pretend to be leaning against the rock in an attitude of tranquil repose. Several of the bladed weapons on Karako's belt poke you in the ass, but you don't let this show on your face. Instead, you yawn elaborately and check your wristwatch. You don't have a wristwatch, but you don't think drones know what a wristwatch is anyway. You pretend to smoke a non-existent cigarette. Again, you're not giving anything away, because drones don't know what cigarettes are either. But the drone has apparently taken an interest in you. It floats down between the trees and undergrowth and hovers above the path several meters from where where you're pretending to relax against a rock after a long day of hiking through the scenic shit-smell forest. It's quite the terrifying sight, actually. Skurzelshil. That's literally what it says. The drone observes soullessly, making Karako jump so that several of your internal organs are threatened. However, you maintain what you believe the local populace would call a stiff upper whistle pillow. The drone's blank metal head studies you, or it could be studying something else in the opposite direction, or even taking the drone equivalent of a piss. You can't really tell from its expression because it has no features to make expressions with. This examination, or non-examination, continues for quite some time. But your diminutive potential friend is well hidden from view, and after a while, evidently concluding that you're an inanimate object that makes unaccountable gestures with its wrists and fingers, the drone floats upward again, gaining speed until, with a dreary skrzl, it whizzes off somewhere to find other hapless, non-standard citizens to euthanize. Oh, my adorable boy. I love him so much. Him and Malik are my favorite. When it's gone, you stand away from the rock and rub several sore places that could have been pierced by bladed weapons. What? That have been pierced by bladed weapons, okay. You turn to Karako to comment on the recent fervor, but stop when you see the look he is directing at you. A warm, admiring look. An affectionate, esteeming look. A look of friendship! Your first impulse is to throw your arms around him and lean in, but on second thought, remembering his pants arsenal, you put your hand out for a warm handshake. Victory is so close. But before you can seal the deal with this sweet friendship transaction, you hear a disturbance further down the path. God, can't the narrative chill for a single moment? Especially a moment when you're about to consummate a beautiful friendship. You turn to look. The footsteps, several sets of them, get nearer, and around the bend come three figures. Three figures wearing swimming outfits. Lots of gold jewelry and insouciant expressions. Three figures with gills on their necks and small stylized fins on their face. Whoever wrote this knew people were gonna shit their pants over this. Oh man, is it possible you finally happened upon a group of the legendary sea dwellers? But does that mean we are close to the ocean right now? They stop short when you and Karako obviously They stop short when they see you and Karako, obviously startled. They study you. You study them. Then Finhead Interloper 1, in a one-piece and diamond earrings, whispers to her companions, and all three burst out laughing. Finhead Interloper 2, in a violet wetsuit and rings, slaps her thighs, and Finhead Interloper 3, in checkered swimming trunks, holds his sides. Part of you is relieved. Laughter drives out the devil and is the best medicine, and in any event, better than homicidal mania. On the other hand, this laughter isn't friendly. It's cold, mocking, and supercilious. Supercilious? Dude, I don't know. These sea dwellers are obviously laughing at you, not with you. Oh, baby, it's okay. It's okay, we love you. You notice Karako's cheeks flushing purple under his face paint, and his jaws clenching. However, he just stares with stony dignity at the interlopers. This just makes them laugh harder. But yeah, purple bloods have, like, terrible temper. The first sea dweller says, "What are you two supposed to be?" "Shrimp Cassidy and the Squamous Kid," says her second companion. "A Culbait Minnow and his mutated soft-shell crab," says the third. "Looks like the Minomal one went down on the clown, causing it to spurt out the other one. The Sea Dweller's laughter is redoubled. You continue expressionless at these insults, but to your dismay, Karako's face is taking a harsh, glowering look. You guessed that such a tiny dude has probably been victimized by bullies his whole life, and as you happen to know, there are no bullies like Alternian bullies. Honk. You tell him to let them talk all the shit they want. Don't let them provoke him. They're trying to get him to do something stupid. If he doesn't react, they'll get bored and go away. Honk! No! Remember the drone? It's probably still around here somewhere. Touch a scale on their heads and you could be rendered into mother grub feedstock. Hey, bottom feeders, no whispering when you're in the presence of your bathers. And you, little buoy, put a respectful expression on your recognition surface. Be more like your friend, the slender manatee over there. In fact, why is it you two are still perpendicular? In the presence of sea dwellers, you should be bowed right at the right anglers. The first sea dweller seems to have an affinity for cheesy ocean puns. You bow to the sea dwellers. You have your dignity, but you also like not getting killed. Oh no, baby, it's okay, don't cry, it's okay. I just noticed he's crying. He's got tears in his eyes. No, baby, no. You're better than them. Don't stoop to their level. Karako remains stubbornly upright, his face getting angrier and purpler by the moment. The bladed weapons on his belt jingle from his enraged trembling. Oh, see the little clownfish? He's getting angry. Looks like he's gonna shit his pants. What did I tell you about your face, boy? Didn't your Lucis teach you anything? I doubt he even has a Lucis. Any self-respecting Lucis would never let a shrimp like that out of the hive. Unless his Lucis is just as defective. The Lucis cracks are too much for Karako. Ignoring your hissed warnings, he suddenly leaps, snarling into the air, draws bladed weapons from his belt in each hand and hurtles towards the sea dwellers. Honk! So last time we leapt into the fray and lent comfort and support, but we were not that good at that, and got us both killed. So now we are going to grab him by the coattails and try to keep him from precipitating a disaster. You leap forward and grab Karako by the coattails, or by his belt. You aren't actually sure what a coattail is. You're not? Jesus, he is strong! You can barely hold him. It's like trying to restrain a small truck. His legs rotate wildly, kicking up a cloud of dust, and he brandishes his bladed weapons wildly in the direction of the sea dwellers. After a startled moment, in which they jump backward, the sea dwellers have started to laugh again, coming up with more stupid insults and fish puns. This is not helping. Karako runs twice as hard, honks twice as loud, shakes his weapons twice as threateningly. Hey, hey! You shout at Karako, trying to be heard above the fracas, holding with all your might and digging in your heels. You have half a mind to just let him go, to pay the sea dwellers back for their insults, but you try to keep a cool head. You're doing your proto friend much more good trying to restrain his wrath. But it's not working. You can see from the contorted features and bare teeth and the distended nostrils, with smoke coming out, and the blazing eyes, that Karako is getting more and more enraged. And suddenly, his rage seems to reach a kindling point. His body vibrates violently, and his eyes grow huge and round. And suddenly, from his body, like nuclear blast and pressure wave of fear and violence, sends you flying through the air like a scrap of paper in a gale. What the fuck? Are you hallucinating? But you can see as you soar above the path that the sea dwellers aren't laughing anymore. In fact, they're screaming in terror and fleeing wildly, blundering into razor leaves, being impaled by spring thorns and burned by pod acid, and generally receiving the stern retribution that awaits assholes. Then your head collides with a tree branch, and you are rendered unable to narrate for a while. ... What the fuck just happened? You wake up lying in the dust. As consciousness returns, you realize that you're lying on the path, and as it returns further, that small clown-painted figure is seated next to you. Quite calm now. He smiles fondly at you as you sit up. Honk! Oh my god, you are so precious! You are so precious! You smile in return. You express relief that he realizes that you are acting in his best interest, holding him back from the Finheads, and now, though largely because of his unexpected burst of clown sorcery, or whatever that was, everything has turned out for the best. KARAKO holds up his arms for a hug, but then, remembering the bladed weapons on his belt, sticks out his hand. You shake it warmly. Yes! Yes! It's so cute! Oh. I love him. He's so precious. Okay. Well, I guess that's it for, KARAKO. I fucking love him. So much. Must protect. Anyways, that was it for this video, my guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you would like to experience the game for yourself, I highly recommend you do so. There will be a link in the description where you can go to the Steam page and download it. Each DLC is only 99 cents, so that's a pretty good deal if you ask me. But if not, you are welcome to binge my playlist of Hiveswap Friendsim videos, which will be at the end of this one in my end card. I have covered every route up until now, and I have regained count of how many videos I have so far, and it is like 53. I have wasted a total of 50 hours on this game. 50. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. It means so much. I love, like, just coming onto, the videos and seeing, like, you guys commenting about how much you like the video and stuff. It really makes my day. So thank you very much. I really appreciate it, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!